Everybody knows that Edward the was Shakespeare. But in my book, There Begin, we have many more evidences.
An unprecedented story.
We are closer to the truth.
By Ricardo Mena.
It will be difficult for you with the evidences to deny that Edward the was Shakespeare.
Begin.
When Thomas Looney wrote the book about Edward the book is so clear and so very well written that also Wells and Sigmund Freud saw that Edward was the real Shakespeare, or have more chances to be the real Shakespeare rather than the man from Stratford. You know, and when you follow that theory, when you read about the book of Thomas Looney, you then get the full, absolute meaning of the Shakespeare's plays and poems, so that the work starts to shine and have a real meaning for the first time. It's absolutely marvelous. It's a miracle. For the first time, we can reach the real mind of the genius of Western culture. So my book, I have tried to do exactly a little synthesis of Looney's discoveries, while adding more discoveries by Charlton of Bourne and Hank Whittemore and Charles Bill Clark. And then when I was writing about that, when I was discovering more things about our genius, I stumbled across John Donne. Because one of the greatest things about Elizabethan times is that Shakespeare has darkened everything and has gotten all the attention on himself, while we don't know yet who Edmund Spenser is. We have been told that from tradition and the own Edmund Spenser, he was living in Ireland, but he knew everyone in London, you know. He has the same vacuum, the same empty life. Nowadays, the honest Spenserians don't know the real life of the writer. Can you imagine? Can you imagine reading about your own special love author and you don't know his life? And you know, we know that the father of John Donne died when John Donne was 4 years old, and that his mother married again with a royal surgeon. And what is most fantastic and outstanding is that a friend of John Donne said afterwards, John Donne's death, that John Donne was educated at court by great people, you know. So suddenly you have a child prodigy in court that could be that very same emerita that we're talking about. If thou so bidst, thy pleasure shall be done. And suddenly, you may see the double image. We know that Shakespeare knew who was writing behind Edmund Spenser. Because when you read Henry V, in that essence, the scene when they are fighting in France, there's an Irish MacMorris, and they tell about MacMorris that he's a very gentleman knight, and they talk about him. No? And when you read that scene, the word that is most repeated in 18 lines is done, which is repeated 7 times in 18 lines, 7 times. John Donne was an Elizabethan poet, and we tend to forget that. So now we can close the circle.